Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jaylee. This is JayLeesCorner. Happy Sunday. Happy end of the weekend. Okay. I ain't ready to go back to work. Okay, because it's been a long work week, but the time has come. Okay. But again, happy Sunday to the people, to the JayBirds, and everybody else in between. Now, one, I hope y'all can hear me. Okay, we're gonna hope it ain't no sound issues. Okay. So if there are sound issues, let me know. But y'all should be able to hear me clearly and whatnot. Okay. Look, I want everyone to be sure to do a couple of things for me, starting with making sure you have did either one or two things. Well, do both things. Okay. Make sure to one, like the video. Okay. And make sure to also subscribe, because if you haven't subscribed, what you're around here for? Okay. If you can't be a subscriber, you gotta subscribe to the things and watch the things, because that is what we are here to do. Okay. Now we are here today for Love and Marriage Huntsville season 10 episode 3 review, the recap of all the foolishness they are putting us through. Now I don't know why they think we blind and we can't see what they doing. Okay. Deflection all up and through from everybody. Well, maybe except Nell. Maybe Nell not being as, deflective as other people are. But I still feel like I need somebody to fix it. You know what I'm saying? I need someone like, you know what? Let's stop playing games. Let's everyone just admit that the Scots are making things up for a check. Anyway, I will also be live today, around 6:30-ish p.m. for a hot topic chat. Real fast. That hopefully will only be about an hour, child, because we got time. Okay, we got time. But come on through today, again, around 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, for us to have a conversation about some other foolishness that's going on around here. But yeah, we were live this week. So there are other lives for y'all to get into. So go watch those things. Because why? I asked you to and stuff. Now, I am here where I'm at. I ain't got no makeup on. I ain't got no lipstick on. My face is real bare. Okay, it is cold. It is I'm trying to relax before having to go to work tomorrow. Okay, but we shall see. But again, hello to the people. Wait, let me say my hello. Say how y'all doing? How is everyone? How is everybody? If the weather was great here in Michigan, okay, we love it around here. Because I think it's fall. Fall is on the way. It is, and I like it. But again, hi to the people. Hello to everyone and stuff. Okay, I appreciate y'all for being here, watching live, or those who watch the replay. Both things are appreciated. Come on now, a lovely sunny Sunday with your fave. Hey, Toy, and thank you for being a member. Okay, oh, from Philly. What's it like in Philly? Is it cold? Is it warm? I feel it's Philly like New York. Where it's like is it so it should be like warm right now in Philly? I'm not sure. Okay, sounds good. That is great because I was mad last week when the sound was stupid and I don't know what happened. But here we are today. Okay. Thank you for the super chat, Soy. For the little bit of love, we appreciate it. Bam, 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 bam. But yeah, it's some foolish. Look, I watched this episode last night at around 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, Lord, I'm gonna cuss some folks out. But I was like, okay, but there's also some little things going on in the topics in the blog world. So again, the blog hot topic chat is again at 6:30 ish. And then we'll lay it down for the rest of the evening. Okay, look, I said, girl, put a shirt on because I know it's Sunday, you know what I'm saying, but put some clothes on. I said, grab a sweatshirt, grab a sweatshirt around here, okay? Look, Kimmy. I feel like when I put on my thumbnail, Maurice didn't give love to Kimmy's son. I meant that in every shape, way, form possible. Because hearing the conversation, I said, oh, Maurice is a deadbeat stepdaddy. And there are different ways for people to be deadbeats in the world. Okay. And the way that Maurice is a deadbeat is he was a deadbeat while being in the house. I was like, I cannot believe the amount of just unawareness of Maurice, and even seeing the Scott brothers kind of go back and forth. And I'm like, for the first time ever, I'm on Marceau's side. How did we get here? You know what I'm saying? And even not only that, we know that Marceau ain't the best father either because we've seen him ignore his, because Marceau used to feel like, Tisha is the mama. Tisha, can raise the kids. I'm somewhere making the money. I think he's changed that a little bit, but only because the kids are a bit older right now. But him and Maurice, I was like, child, y'all both can go sit somewhere. But right now, we're going to say Marceau was right in what he was saying to Maurice. Okay, so you know what? We're going to just go ahead and get right into it. Again, do not forget to like the video, share, okay, subscribe. And then comment in the comment section. If you're watching live, thank you. But if you're watching the replay, thank you too. So the episode picks up right where we left off. Okay, them about to fight. And I am a firm believer, and Ken is the problem. Ken is just much the problem in this triangle of him, his girlfriend's husband, because Ken's anger and his reaction in this situation to me was unwarranted. I get it. Marquez can be aggravating, if he lied because I wasn't there. Okay, I can fully understand aggravation with having to deal with somebody's husband who you dating. I get that. That's why I would not date somebody married. You know what I'm saying? But Ken, to me, is pissed at Trisha because she won't divorce Marquez. I don't blame Marquez for them not being divorced. I blame Trisha because she tells us how much she don't like him, He's a non-factor. He ain't around here. The man, if someone ain't around here, and if they are such a bad parent, if they're such he ain't there. There's no reason y'all should still be legally married when you've been dating Ken for 3-4 years. Well, 4-5 years. You know what I'm saying? So I blame Ken in the aspect of he refuses to leave. He to me, he likes making it seem like, well, the only reason we're not married is because of her husband. Yeah, because your girlfriend won't divorce him. She won't press the issue. So y'all all at the house, and now a whole fight ensued because we look. And I also feel like Ken. Now I think they said that Marquez ain't filming anymore this season after this altercation. I feel like Ken should be filming because to me, Ken attacked Marquez. If you, even though they, the cameras didn't show the fight, but you heard the tussle. You heard the tussle through the microphones, and it doesn't sound like Ken punched him. It sounds like a little yoke up, a little shimmy shake, tussle wrestle. You know what I'm saying? You hear all this, the microphone like, and all that. But I feel like watching the scene from what we saw, and Trisha, her fake ass friend Sharon, trying to hold Ken back, and Marquez who's walking away. You know what I'm saying? I am not a person who's like, okay, yeah, I agree with no. Ken attacked Marquez. He ran after him. He shook his ass up and all of that. And I just don't feel like this situation called for a tussle. I think there are many times in life where there's a time to tussle. Okay? I'm all about it's gonna be move the furniture out the way, let's tussle. Okay? I am full agreement when there are times for the need of tussling. This was not a need for no tussle at all. It was Ken beating his chest, big man, ooh, 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 like a fucking gorilla, and not you know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, his anger, his temper, not being able to not physically attack someone in the house, the kids upstairs. As a mother, I would not condone anyone tussling in my house and my kids upstairs. And not only that, you are the father figure. That's their daddy. When Ken tried to make it seem as if, oh, the kids ain't traumatized, they are, because they're also being forced to pick and choose between mama, daddy, and boyfriend. So I'm like, in the fact that Sharon, oh, Ken, no, Ken. Then when the son came downstairs, here comes, Xavier's 19. So he's legally, he can vote, he can buy some cigarettes or whatever. I said, a part of me felt like Xavier was gonna help his dad. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what Trish say. Them kids love their daddy. Okay, they may not like his antics between the parents. I think the kids can't stand the issues between their parents, but you can tell them kids care for their daddy. You know what I'm saying? So seeing Xavier come downstairs, which made us know, oh, wait a minute. The kids is home. The whole time, I'm thinking the kids got to be at a movie. The kids have to be at a movie, at the Dairy Queen, somewhere else, while the parents at the house discussing how to do whatever. So seeing Xavier, I'm like, oh, because if Xavier was there, the daughter probably was too. And Xavier came down, and even though he came down calm, he didn't come down yelling, cussing, fussing. But because he instantly kind of walked towards his dad's way or whatever. Because by the time I think when Xavier came down, security had them separated, so it wasn't as if they were fighting in the moment. You can see he was trying to just, okay, Dad, let's go. And because Marquez was like turning around, he kind of yanked away from the son. I think he thought it was security holding him, and he walked out. And when he said, "Y'all got me fucked up," and Marquez left, I don't feel like Marquez was trying to fight at all. I think that's why he was so upset at the whole thing. I think even we see him walking away. We see him backing up, and in this moment of the altercation, he ain't loud. He not trying to fuss and argue. He said, "Hey, but what's next? Okay, we got the boundary, so you don't want me walking in, cool. But what's next?" And Ken not being able to be an adult and say, "You know what? Let me calm down. Let me calm down. You know what? Let's end this right now and let's talk later, because I'm too like he could not control his anger, and any person who can't control their anger while kids is in the vicinity, I don't trust you, because your first thought should have been the kids upstairs. I don't want the kids being aware of the amount of toxic shit between me, they mama, and they daddy. And when you can't be level-headed while like the kids wasn't there and shit pop off, okay, whatever. But you know the kids upstairs. And the fact that the son had to come, the fact that he had even come downstairs because it got that bad. And seeing Marquez saying to production, man, you know, y'all better stop playing. He wasn't talking to Trisha or Ken. He was talking to production, because he like, we ain't we filming the show? Why is he running up on me? I mean, y'all better stop playing with me. Like, he wasn't talking to, in my opinion, he wasn't talking to Ken, saying he was talking to production. And because he like, because if Ken and Marquez was gonna fight, they would have been fought. They would have been fought. This shit ain't been brewing for a while. It hasn't. Trisha, to me, set this bomb off and then sat back and watched it explode. And that's unfortunate. And I'm upset with Ken for not being able to control himself when the kids are in the house and having a disagreement with their daddy. Period. Because I'm pissed at you now because you fought my daddy. Mama, what you got to do with this? And daddy, what can you do? You know, the kids are the only victims in any of this. Trish ain't no victim. Ken ain't no victim, and Marquez ain't no victim. Them kids happen to deal with their parents in the bullshit. Ken having to be held back by either security or production. I think it's production. You know what I'm saying? The son coming down trying to at least see what's going on. Marquez is pissed because he got this tussled up by Ken. I don't think he even knew his son came downstairs. So when I seen him kind of yank away, I think he didn't know who was grabbing him, and the fact that he yanked away to leave the house, you know. And I've seen people say, well, you know, Marquez is that don't matter. If you're gonna be with a woman with an aggravating husband, you can't go to violence every time. You can't go from 0 to 100. You can't. And if no one can hold you, because think about this, what if there was no production there? And Ken is out here just enraged and pissed and can't control his anger. That's a red flag to me. That's a red flag to me. And I blame Trisha. I do. Because I just feel like if she really wanted Marquez done and out of her life, she would have divorced him. She would have divorced him way before. Her and Marquez would have been divorced way before they got on the show. And then there would be no reason for us to see any of this shit. But I'm just upset because and not only that, the kids have to now watch this shit play out on TV. That's sad as well. And again, I feel Ken attacked Marquez. Ken did not control his anger. We can't always say, well, Marquez kept asking. I don't care. If y'all know that man is loopy and y'all know you make up shit, what you getting mad for? If you have a court date coming up and the paperwork is valid now, anything he said from before don't even matter. Because you know it's not, either you know it's not true or it don't matter no more. If the first time he filed, he didn't sign the shit, but now y'all have a new court date and the kids is listed on there, then what's the point of getting so pissed off that you fight the daddy in the house while filming a TV show? So we may not see Marquez anymore. I don't care either way, but we not gonna act like Ken is this. He's not a good man, Savannah. He not. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
He's a good man, Savannah. A good man.
That's a lie.
Anybody that ever told you differently was a fat Faison liar.
Ken is not a good man. Ken is not a sensible man. Ken is a fool. Because Ken has been aware this lady was around here, who was dating a lady who was married, cool, her husband lives out of state. But what's going on with y'all marriage? Okay, oh, he back around now? Oh, and he aggravating. Okay, well, divorce him. Not yet, not yet, not yet. I'ma still stick around.
It's almost hurtful to me to watch her be so dumb.
Cause he dumb mistake. So Ken, you stupid. You dumb. And when you don't see Trisha likes the beefing between you and Marquez, you stupid. Because I told her I love a peaceful life. And my thing is, peace doesn't always mean the crazy person isn't here right now. Peace means I've made it to where the aggravating person in my life has the least access to me because I divorced him. And now that they are beefing, he may really not want to sign shit because he's aggravated. So Ken, you dumb for sticking around with someone who does not want to divorce their husband. And you attacked him. You did, Blanche. All up and through. And if I was Marquez, which I'm suing, okay, I'm suing Ken, I'm suing Own, I'm suing Carlos King for hurt, for distress, okay, for embarrassment, because I was told I would not be physically touched, and I'm around here talking, and I get attacked by a goddamn crazy man in my mama, my wife's house. My kids are exposed to this shit. I don't want to do it no more. I would have sued everyone. Okay, we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, next up, the bullshit. Okay, the bullshit of Kimmy and Maurice. Kimmy, I feel like I liked Kimmy before. I did. I thought Kimmy was sensible. I thought she made sense. I thought she would hit, she would hold people's feet to the fire. She would, stand her ground when need be. Seeing how uneven Kimmy and Maurice's marriage is, even them as husband and wife, and now them as parents to Jaylen and Monster, their own sons from previous relationships. I don't think we ever felt or knew how Maurice was as a father to Jaylen. And they sitting around talking or whatever, and Kimmy brings up how she went to talk to Jaylen as ours. Her, that's her son. And when she brought up how, because Maurice wants to have this family business. I don't know what it's supposed to be, because Monster's, at least 18, about to go to college. And, Jaylen is maybe in his 20s at this point in time. I don't know what family business Maurice wants. Maurice likes making it seem as if we can let's open up a car wash. Be a family business. Let's open up a hair salon. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what family business do y'all want that would include Jaylen and Monster? Like, do they even do the same shit? Like, I mean, what is it? I mean, anybody can wash dishes. I digress. So I brought up the whole family business thing to Jaylen, and he was not on board for it. You know what I'm saying? And she brings up how Jaylen said, and we see a little flashback to her talking to Jaylen, how Jaylen said that growing up, he did not feel, or he did not see Maurice as a father figure. Okay, because Maurice was more like the homie, little brother. And I was like, the reason that's crazy is because how? Jaylen was at an age when Maurice came around to where he wasn't even old enough to look at Maurice as a friend. Maurice should have been another parent. You know what I'm saying? And Jaylen, and I don't think Jaylen's dad is in the picture. Or at least I don't think he is. But if you are the father figure in the house, you've married his mom, how is him as adults, he has no feeling of you as a father figure? I'm like, that's weird to me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I have, my mom met my dad when I was in first grade, and I never, I'm a girl, okay, but I never looked at him like he was like, oh, this is the home. It's like, no, he was a father in the house. That's my dad. You know what I'm saying? So I can imagine having someone live in your house, be married to your mom, and you don't see them as even my brother, who's technically my stepbrother, like he sees my mom as his mom. Because when he was over the house to visit, she was the mom, and you know what I'm saying? So I don't get this shit right here, okay? And so she said, Jaylen said Maurice never made him feel like his son. And I said, bitch, what? Because again, it's one thing if you say, I don't, maybe we was like, cool. But even from the say, I never felt like Maurice made me feel like his son. That Jaylen felt like Marceau was more the father figure to him. And, when Kimmy told him how Jaylen felt, and I was like, I was then upset with Maurice for not even responding in a way like, damn, I wonder what did I do? Or what didn't I do? He became defensive. Oh, I never want anyone to feel like I don't adore them as human beings. I'm like, bitch, what? What do you mean? What? You know what I'm saying? So his whole response of, I want the best for anyone overall. I want people to chase their dreams. I was like, what does that have to do with the child you help raise who never felt like you helped raise them as a father? And you are a father your damn self to your own son. And I know at one point Tisha said something like, I hope that Jaylen can be as honest with Maurice as he is with Kimmy. It seems as if they don't have that relationship. Because how did Maurice not know before now? Or did he know, he just didn't care? Okay, I promise you, Maurice cosplays as a smart, caring, intellectual individual it's fake. It's fake and fugazi. Because how do you not know Jaylen feels less love from you and you never tried to fix it over all these years? Never? Ever? Anyway. So he said he's gonna talk to Jaylen, but I still feel like it's crazy that he never acknowledged Jaylen's feelings in the now maybe it was cut out, I don't know, but in what we saw, he never really responded in a way that made me feel like he give a fuck about Jaylen's feelings and how he was raised. To me, it came off as he wants to defend his way of parenting and not acknowledge you did something wrong in how you treated Jaylen. Period. And Maurice has this robotic coldness up to him when he's in defense mode. Now, I don't know if that's his lawyer part. I still don't know what kind of lawyer he is. So I don't know if he goes into lawyer stance when he wants to defend himself. But I'm like, it doesn't feel human. It doesn't feel loving. So I can see why it was some bullshit. And to me, Kimmy telling Maurice this, I'm like, are they still trying to avoid Maurice's DUI conversation? Because now the storyline is going to be Jaylen. So not Kimmy and Maurice dealing with the aftermath of his DUI and where he was. Nope. Let's get into him as a father with my son. Okay, and the grown son, but I digress. Okay, but we'll get to that in 1 second. We had a quick scene with Chris and Nell. Okay, a quick scene with Chris and Nell at the house. Now, the funny part about Chris and Nell, they ordered food. It was takeout. I find it weird when people get like take out food like in the containers or whatever, and then put the food on real plates and eat. Why not just eat on the takeout thing? Y'all didn't cook that food. You didn't got the good china out, child, to eat on the good china, and you could have used that damn styrofoam. Because you didn't cook that food. So I was like, what are y'all doing? Anyway, so with Chris and Nell, I almost felt like we did not need this episode, this scene. It was just we got 3 businesses. They have a daycare. They have a cleaning company, and then of course the royalty thing or whatever. So that's they got real jobs and whatnot. And that's fine. She brings up how Tisha wants all of them to meet up for dinner, to, touch base or whatever. Because none of them have like hung out since the reunion that happened in LA. And, she brings up having talked to Destiny, you know what I'm saying, and that how Destiny was upset with her for inviting Sunny to the bridal shower last season. This all old shit, but I digress. But it wasn't a big deal. She also brings up how, Destiny dating Lance was not a good idea, whatever, because, we don't want to pick sides, and now it's a bunch of bullshit. So this was like a little space filler. This episode was a space filler. The meat and potatoes was really Ken, and then fussing and fighting, and then, Maurice, Kimmy, and Jaylen. What I do like about Chris and Nell is I can feel people gonna fuck with Nell, and Chris and Nell gonna have to come out swinging, because the issues between her and Tisha, the issues between her and Destiny, and we see later on down the season, the issues with Kimmy and Nell is gonna come up. Okay. But again, when she said, look, Destiny messed around with Lance, that didn't know me. I didn't want to happen. And now they're not talking anymore because they both Lance and Destiny did things wrong. I didn't care that much, but whatever. We then have there's gonna be a quick live, y'all. It's gonna be a quick live, like about an hour. We then see all the ladies have a little meal. Now I think we forget that they're not friends. We have, Tisha, Kimmy, Nell, and Trish. Trisha. And I think people forget the fact that Trisha was Stormy's friend. Nell was Mel's friend. And now that they're both gone, Tisha and Kimmy don't really know either lady, but now they're all stuck on the show together, and they have to act like friends. They have to build a rapport with each other. And I'm like, this is why I feel like the show, it could get better, but I don't know, because you have 4 ladies who don't really know each other. Yeah, Tisha and Kimmy are sister-in-laws, and they're cool, but even Trisha don't know Nell. So all of their scenes, like we see scenes with this over, I think it's next week, with a scene between Trisha and Nell. They're filming just a film, in my opinion. So they sitting around talking, chat at the little table. Because Kimmy's like, I want to get to know Nell and Trisha, which makes sense. They're strangers. Kimmy said she did invite Destiny. Okay. She said, but Destiny was busy in a TikTok tweet. I say, first of all, Kimmy, stop lying. Okay. No one convinced me that Destiny was too busy on TikTok to film a scene. First of all, she only has one product, the damn body spray mist. That's really air freshener. Okay. So I don't believe that she was too busy to come film. I think she just didn't want to film. Because did she really be on TikTok like that? Anyway. So again, Trisha brings up the drama between Ken and Marquez. And the issue I have with Trisha, she consistently, her and Ken both consistently explain the scenario in a way that makes them look innocent. Like, oh, I don't know what happened. I don't know. Marquez out the blue walked in my house. I don't know why he was here. He started a fight with my friend for no reason. Okay. He then came acting crazy about our divorce, and then boom, they started fighting. And that ain't what happened. And the fact that they don't know her, all they can really do is take her word for it. But I was like, no, that's not what when you miss context clues, and why he walking the house? What was he there for? Was he mic'd up? So you the mic on? So y'all was filming. Okay, cool. What was your kids at? Oh, your daughter was with them. So it's little context clues let you know she full of shit. Because again, she makes it seem as if I don't know why he was at the house. I don't know why he walked in. I don't know why. You know why he was with your daughter. The daughter walked in, and he walked in with her. So again, it's weird. So that's her drama. Ken and Dave tussling. I don't know what. Girl, bye. Kimmy then brings up how I don't have any drama, but again, Jaylen don't feel like Martell, or not Martell, that Jaylen don't feel like Maurice was a father figure. He felt like that was more of Marceau. Now, Tisha brings up how we've always said that Jaylen was Marceau's older son. Ha 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 ha. And it's because Jaylen spent so much time working with Marceau that, they just grew a bond and whatnot. But I'm like, how do you have a stronger bond with a person you work with and not a person you live with? Like, Maurice lives in the household and has been in the household. So it's weird to me that Marceau was even able to garner that kind of bond with Jaylen without Maurice either recognizing it and trying to also get close to Jaylen. But to me, it feel like, it's my opinion, it feel like Maurice didn't give a fuck. I'm with your mama. She already partly raised you. So I'll just pop in if you fuck up. And I don't like that, okay? So Nell then brings up how Nell responded back to teacher saying how they had not hung out since the reunion. And she brings up how we had to come home because, Lance had a baby on the way. And Chris, our other son, also had a baby, and they're 5 months apart. So it was a crazy time and blah, 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 blah. So I feel like, I don't know why they're focusing on Nell's son having a baby, because that doesn't really matter. Because I don't even think he was really with Destiny in that kind of way. But when she brought up how when we did not know the girl was pregnant, it is someone Lance has known for years, but we just did not know she was pregnant. Like we don't think he knew, but we had to go back because she was in labor and stuff. And so when teacher went, I was upset because I was side eyeing you because now you were pushing Destiny and Lance today. She's like, well, no, that's not true. No. That one, I did not know about the baby, but also none of this shit has anything to do with me. I feel like trying to hold Nell responsible in any level is weird because Destiny's grown, Lance is grown, Nell is just a mama. But that's why she kept on saying, I don't know about her dating my daughter. And I think, again, it's the whole deflection. Because let me deflect to you and your antics, your son's antics, and how I think that you were wrong for, trying to hook him up with Destiny. And it was and I'm happy Nell said, oh, she have all these questions for me. What about her? Because the stuff going on with Martell, Maurice, Marceau, them hookers or whatever, is a direct connection to you and your husband, Tisha. Lance having someone pregnant has nothing to do with Nell. It almost don't have shit to do with Destiny because him and her was not a couple. They were just, messing around or whatever. And I don't feel like they dated for a long enough time to where before the girl got pregnant, they was together. I just wonder if he felt like he did not have to talk to her about who was having, because that probably mean him and her weren't fucking. So we not fucking. I don't owe you any conversation about who I'm fucking in my own life. So I don't know. But, he's trying to make it seem as if Nell was wrong for, hooking up Lance. Well, she didn't hook them up, but, wanting them to date. And Nell said, but that ain't got shit to do with me. I didn't know about the baby. So I didn't press nothing. However, girl, how do you and Timmy feel about y'all husbands in that Martell interview and the mistress? And I say yes, because Tisha and Marceau are not going to bring up, address what Martell said. They're refusing to acknowledge the thing even happened. So I'm happy that production is making Chris and Nell and Trisha bring it up. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't ignore this shit. Now, Tisha, well, how you feel, Nell? Nell's a bitch. It's not my husband. Okay, I'm not married to Marceau, so I have no feelings about it. I mean, it's crazy, but I have no feelings. Trisha said, I thought it was crazy. I don't know why. Yeah, that was crazy. Kimmy just said, well, I laughed because I felt like it was unbelievable. I felt like that. I felt like that cannot be. And her referring to that girl as that, as if, oh, Maurice would never deal with anyone that looks like that. Girl, men fuck whatever. Okay, when men cheat on their wives or on whoever, they fuck whoever. So you can't make it seem like, oh, wait, because she looked like that, that's a girl bye. If they sneak around state to state with hookers and hoes, it is what it is. And we're not gonna act like this is the Maurice Marceau Martel currently. This stuff happened before they were on the show. You know what I'm saying? So, girl, but at least Kimmy responded and said, I laughed. I thought it was crazy. It's unbelievable. But Tisha refusing to address it, saying, "Wait, me and my man made a IG thing. You know what I'm saying? If you want to know how we feel, watch that." And I was like, but see, that's bullshit. You and Martell both went on social media interviews and address each other about show shit. You can't then come back to filming and then not want to address the shit y'all said that made his rounds. You can't. And when Trisha said, well, why Martell did it, it's because Tisha, what Tisha said on Carlos's interview. So you called that man gay. You said the man sucked dick around here. Okay, so whatever. It's just weird that they are trying to ignore the obvious. But I'm like, whatever. Tisha then say, well, I just hope that if anybody here has an issue with anybody here or whatever, before we go talk to someone else, like we will address it with each other. And Nell said, look, if I have a problem with y'all know I can't keep it in. So, you will find out one way or the other. Which made her say, Tisha say, well, I've been questioning you and Chris because, I saw what he said about, our husbands and NDAs. They keep ignoring the fact that Chris was shooting a scene with Mel. And we're just saying, I ain't told nobody to sign on NDA. That sounds like the shit that, Marcel Maurice would do. It was on the show. So let's not act like, that Chris in these streets with strangers, saying shit. No, he was having a conversation with Mel on camera and said it. So why not just address the elephant in the room? But I'm like, whatever. Kimmy also said that Maurice had an issue with what Chris said because he thought that was all cool. And Nell said, look, this is my husband and I love him and I'm going to support him, but I can't control what he says. And again, they're trying to deflect away from their husband's shit and push it off on Nell. And again, it's bullshit in my opinion, but I'm like, at least Nell is not ignoring it. She's responding as she should. Now, this scene between Maurice and Jaylen, they went to a pool hall to play some pool. I said, first of all, I don't trust Maurice. The reason I don't trust anyone who is always in a suit, because to me, it is a deflection. It's a deflection. When you are going with your son for a relaxing game of pool, you didn't have a pair of jeans and a sweatshirt in your car. You didn't have time to take off your loose fitting suit. Maurice, to me, it's performative. Why are you not relaxed in your own body to realize, what, maybe I should not go to the scene with him, because if he already feels uneasy around me, if he already feels as if I'm not, I'm saying, the father figure, let me try to be as relaxed as I can make this scene. To me, Maurice tries to intimidate people with his stance, with his staring down people, with his punk ass suits. It feels performative. You know what I'm saying? And to me, Maurice comes off as an evil stepfather. So we always watch Cinderella and all these fairy tale stories, and there's always this evil stepmother. Maurice is the evil stepfather. Married that man mama, and then never treated Jaylen like a son. He treated him as Kimmy's child, who he is then choosing to help her raise. And when you see this, how even the whole interaction of them there felt so cringy. It felt so uncomfortable. It felt like you were at a job interview and the person said, you know what, let's go to a pool hall, and you're trying your best not to act act fuck up and cuss. You know, nigga, what? You know what I'm saying? It felt like a job interview that you're trying to not fuck up on because you're nervous about it. Not like you are at a pool hall with someone who's been in your life for at least the past 10 years. At least the past 10. I'm like, there was no laughter. Was there even a hug? A handshake? No, this uneasy pool and weird balls not going into holes. So I'm like, you know, I'm gonna talk to Jaylen. He did to me. This was not a let me try to assure Jaylen that if he felt slighted in any way growing up, I deeply apologize. I never wanted to make you feel less than nothing. You know what I'm saying? I would have felt like that would have been a reason that you went to a pool hall. You know, pool is supposed to be fun and all that shit. And I just felt like, you know, Maurice had to stick up his ass. Maurice always wants to come off as a mentor, as a big brother, as a step-by-step, day-by-day. This is how you can get a better life. And it's never from a loving place. Now, I don't know what, look, you know, and I know Maurice and the Scott, Maurice and Marcel and them, they're from here. I think they grew up in Pontiac, but they're from Michigan. We ain't like that. Y'all know me. And you know what I'm saying? That ain't what it is. So I don't know what kind of upbringing they had that has Maurice acting like a goddamn sergeant in the military. You come around here in your punk ass suits, and to me, he was purposefully stiff in this scene. He was trying to intimidate Jaylen. It didn't feel warm and fuzzy at all, and Jaylen felt, in my opinion, uncomfortable. He kept stuttering a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because this is not someone, you can also tell they don't have like regular conversations. Jaylen and Maurice ain't never going to the Dave and Buster's to have some fun. Never. And I don't understand when you want to address something with somebody and you make it such a non-relaxing environment. And to me, Maurice did not come to the scene in any relaxed, calming mode. It was, all right, I'm finna make him feel uncomfortable. That's how I felt. Okay. So they was, you know, shooting the balls or whatever. It was real awkward like and whatnot. And it comes up how Jaylen is going to take a job in Colorado, because like I think I want to move away, and Maurice wonders why. You know, so do you rethink that leaving to find yourself, you need to leave home, which to me is stupid. Maurice and Marceau are both from Michigan. They both left home and moved to Alabama to find themselves. Maurice left when Maurice and Kyle broke up. That's when he left Michigan. So how are you questioning someone who wants to leave home to hopefully have their own life? Like you and your brother did it. The fuck? Okay. So when Jaylen says, I've been here my whole life with my mom, and I just want something new. You know what I'm saying? I want something new. I want a new path, and I think I want to figure things out. And I'm like, Maurice screamed, I want the best, and I want this, and blah, blah, blah. But the moment that Jaylen gave a valid reason as to why he wants to try something different, because he's only known life in Huntsville with his mama, up under the mama, up under the Scots. I want something that's mine and mine alone. My thing, no shade to Huntsville or Alabama. I don't know what else he could do there, considering how small Huntsville is and how the family dynamics there are like popping. You know what I'm saying? It probably makes more sense from to go somewhere where the Scots or Love and Marriage Huntsville is not the thing. I need my own thing. If I'm here, it's always gonna be me and y'all and me, and I don't want that. Okay, I want something. I want my own path. I want something new, and I'm like, that's a valid reason, you know. And when Maurice asked about, well, how do you feel about the family business? I'm like, what? Why would they not say, what's the family business? What do you mean? A car wash, a restaurant? What is it about? You know what I'm saying? But he like, I'm hesitant. Yeah, look, I'm for sure I am hesitant about anything family related or whatever. He said, because I know the Scots. I know y'all, I know how y'all operate. And to me, Jaylen has been an observer. And he's probably been so used to just being in line with what his mom wants and what his stepfather wants. And he's never felt free enough to be like, I'm going to just leave. I gotta go. You know what I'm saying? But I know how y'all operate. I know how it goes. And I feel like I don't want it to be we here and you here on top of the business, that you on top. Okay. And then it's me here having to do what you tell me to do. Or having me do stuff like go get Monster. But I don't want that. Like that ain't gonna work for me. And I'm happy that Jaylen is being honest now. And it may be because he's finally on his own, because he's got the house, he has his own thing going, like he has his own thing going. And I wonder if he now feels like he's being pulled into that Scott business shit like that. Because remember, Kimmy was a nurse. And Maurice, oh, you should really be a realtor. You should quit your job. Even Tisha, both Marcel and Maurice have pulled their wives in different directions based on what they wanted. And I wonder if Jaylen, who's now of age, and they want him to follow in their footsteps. Yeah, come work for the family. Yeah, that's a family business. But when I see how y'all operate, I don't like that at all. And him saying, well, no, I know how it goes, and I don't want that to happen to me. Nope. He also brings up how, look, I just felt like growing up, you know what I'm saying? Things weren't fair. They weren't fair when it came to me and Monster. Now, Monster is, if he's 18 now, him and Jaylen are probably, I don't know how many years apart they are, but they're not that far apart in age. Because if Monster's 18, Jaylen may be 24. You know, so maybe they're about, roughly 6 years apart. But him saying, like, I felt like things weren't fair when growing up with me and Monster, you know what I'm saying? He said we were both in the house. Me and Monster were both in the house playing a game, but you were only asking me to do stuff. You were only asking me to help. And that's not fair. So if I'm here and your son here too, and the trash is out or whatever else, why am I always the one you fuss at to do stuff and not your own child? And when Maurice said, what, as parents, parents have to parent their kids differently. And I feel like it worked for my family. How did it work? He's telling you he felt unhappy. He didn't feel loved the right way. He felt picked on. He felt like your son got the better treatment. So you didn't do shit right at all. So again, him trying to avoid the truth of you fucked up and how you co-parented Jaylen. You did not make him feel welcome or even equal in the household. You know what I'm saying? And Maurice gets a talking child. His MLK, it's better, blah, 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 blue, blue, blue. As parents, blah, shut up. It's bullshit. Again, the whole time talking to Jaylen, he was not acknowledging what Jaylen said to him, how he felt. He would consistently then get defensive and defend why he did what he did. Never say, you know, I never meant to make you feel unfair. I never meant to only ask one kid this and that and that and that and that. And the fact that I still don't feel like he acknowledged Jaylen's feelings, you know. And Maurice and asked him, did you feel like I loved you less than my son? And Jaylen said, of course. Of course. You know, he said he's your son. Because again, Maurice asked him verbatim, do you feel like I loved Monster more than you? And his response was, of course. He's your son. I'm not your actual son. You know what I'm saying? So of course you would love him more. And Maurice said, oh, you're not my son. He said, well, I mean, yeah, but no. Meaning, yes, you live here. Yes, you married my mama. However, nigga, you never made me feel like you're out, child. There are people who have no idea that my dad and my brother are not my birth father and my blood related brother, because there is no distinction. None. And not only that, like my dad's side of the family, my aunt, my uncles, like ain't no step, ain't nothing. They ain't none of that. My mom's, like, we were one family. So I'm like, there has to be that integration, the dating period, whatever. Like it feel like no one, Maurice did not attempt to make Jaylen feel like the son, his son. He was Kimmy's son. That's Kimmy's son. I'm Kimmy's husband. Even him saying, you know, I chose to parent you. Even who the fuck says that? Who the fuck says that? Who says, well, because I chose that? Even how you keep saying, I chose to parent you. I chose, but you didn't. That's making it still feel like, well, look, I had a choice. I agreed to parent you. Feel grateful. It's like, no, bitch, you was with my mama. And he asked, well, what did I fail? What did I fail? And Jaylen said, like, you were like a mentor. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you showed me how to change a tire, how to fix a toilet or whatever I'm saying, but you were not a father to me. Okay, I gravitated more to Marcel. You were with my mom, okay, but I didn't want to get my hopes up that in case y'all did not work out, I did not want to get close to you. And so I didn't gravitate to you. But it's not the child's responsibility to make the adult feel welcomed. Even if Jaylen was a standoffish kid, you can tell Maurice didn't care, because what that meant was less for him to do. If Monster is quiet over there and he don't talk to me, I don't have to try with him. I'm just here with the mama. Okay. And it's fine. Because even him feeling like y'all may not work out. So I'm just going to consider myself. And I think this isn't anything new. I think this is just something they're not putting on the camera. But then he's in his 20s now. And you can tell he like, well, nigga, we ain't cool like that. I'm more cool with your brother. I thought shit wouldn't work out. So I just stayed to myself. I mean, you helped me learn how to fix shit, but in the father-son feelings, it was like, I'm like, I wonder, has Jaylen ever been told by me, Jaylen, I love you. I wish the best for you. Has there ever been that kind of conversation before? And it doesn't feel like it has been, because even of how stoic he was in this scene, and look, in this situation, you're married to a family with kids, and you choose to be the kids' parent. You know what I'm saying? We're a family by choice. No. It still felt like him putting more of the blame on Jaylen, because as a kid, Jaylen chose to not engage. Because he was a kid, he's a child. But Maurice never felt like, you know what, let me make this child feel protected. Let the child know, hey, I'm here. I ain't going nowhere. I'm here. Yeah, I'm in a household. I ain't going no. To me, even because him saying that as an adult still feel like, you know what, y'all can break up tomorrow. And so it's weird that Maurice, it isn't computing. Does not compute. And it's still like he's blaming Jaylen. And that makes me mad because it's unfair. But it also aggravates me. I'm like, what did Kimmy see? What did Kimmy see? And it also made me feel like things that Kai will probably say that we ignored about the kind of person Maurice was is probably factual. And we just didn't know until now. So yeah, Maurice ain't shit. Him and his suits. The men meeting up. Child Ken, shut up. Ken, go away. Ken, be quiet. Okay. Wait, first of all, it's been an hour. Y'all take a good 30 seconds and like the video. Okay, let's get to Ken and his foolishness and Ken making it seem as if he is a victim in his own bullshit. Ken meets up with Chris and his homeboy, Will. Now, again, this is also the show trying to make everybody get friendly because, you know, Chris, to me, don't really know Ken. So they're having to shoot these things to make things seem friendly or whatever. First of all, I like Ken's friend Will. Okay. I do. One, he's handsome. He's a handsome man. The time we've seen him talk to Ken, he seems sensible. He seems like he has common sense and he knows that Ken is stupid. So I like Will. I think he's a good addition. And I wonder, because they said that Ken is also, they said that Will also mess around with Destiny in some kind of, I don't know how they mess around in some kind of capacity, but I wonder if, I don't want y'all to feel like I be hating on Destiny, but a part of me wonders, is Destiny now trying to date men connected to other people on the show? So that way she has a storyline. Because how do you end up dating Nell's son, Nell godson, and Ken homeboy? How? All within 1 or 2 seasons. Like, now again, he's fine. He's thick. Okay, yeah, a nice body. Okay, but because I feel like he is a sensible individual, he listens and say, "Hey, you sound dumb, friend. You sound dumb." Okay. Anyway, but Ken said, "Look, I want an opinion from somebody who was like outside of my situation." You know what I'm saying? And Chris is an older guy. He's been married or whatever. You know, he's been through some things and whatnot. So I want, and I appreciate Ken trying to get advice from someone who, could give some sensible information to him. Now, we know in the past, Chris cheated. We also know, you know what I'm saying, he's friends with Marquez. That's a bad thing. But, Chris tried to give good advice. He may be a fucked up individual. But yeah, I digress. So, Ken, like, look, my girlfriend, keep telling this and blah, 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 blah. Okay. But yeah, my girlfriend husband keep fucking up, and so I'm not. That's what happened. Like Marquez came over again, just like Trish does. This Marquez came over, walked in the house for no reason, saying blah blah blah. He think we'll be cool now. He just walk in and whatever. And so I like the fact that when Ken told the story, both Chris and Will said, "But was the daughter with him? Because if he went to get the daughter, did she open the door?" Like, I love the fact that both Will and Chris had the most common sense response. Well, but did the daughter open the door? And if we did not know what happened because we were told what happened, Ken and Trisha's story would make us upset with Mark. But I'm like, no, yes, common sense man, young looking girl, good looking young man and good old man. Yes. Did the daughter come with the fuck? Okay, the fuck, yes. Maybe the daughter opened the door and he walked in with her. Is that what happened? And Ken said, "Well, I wasn't there. I was at work again," because he's going off with his crazy ass girlfriend about her husband. And I'm like, sometimes you can't believe your girlfriend when she tell you her husband walking out. So I'm like, I appreciate the fact that both Will and Chris are not just believing Ken's story as if it made any sense. Cause nigga, okay, Ken, well, I was on the road, okay, but we then get into argument, you know what I'm saying, and his wife and me fussing and fighting. Okay, he come to the house, his wife there, her friend is there, I'm not there. Okay, so then I'm upset and stuff. And when King gets into, I'm the most gentlest giant. I'm the most gentle giant anyone know, and y'all know I allow people to poke me a million times, child, before I have any kind of reaction or whatever, and blah blah blah. And I felt like Marquez, was it Marquez? I feel like Marquez is like taking my kindness for weakness. Now let me say this. Could Ken be the nicest, gentle giant? He could be, but we've seen him blow up. We've seen when the fact that they keep ignoring last season on the finale. He and Trish argued, and he was like, "Oh, whatever, you broke, and if I leave, you're gonna need your money." Like, he has a temper on him, and he go for broke. So this whole "I'm a gentle giant" is some bullshit. You are a nice guy until you're upset, like anybody else. But don't make it seem as if nothing irks you. Y'all are perfect, and don't do that's a lie. It's a full lie. And it's my house. He gonna respect me. Now look, I'm not negating the fact that my kids absolutely needs to respect the people's house. Absolutely. I'm not ignoring that fact. However, if he comes over with the kids and the kids open the door and he come in, there should not be no bullshit. It shouldn't be. If you know your daughter is with her daddy and you know the daddy gonna drop her off, you should also be aware that when your daughter walk in, he may walk in with her. If y'all are trying to have a positive co-parentingship, that should not be an issue. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Hey, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Even when when he came over with the meat thing, and we heard Marquez knock on the door and came in. To me, I felt like maybe that time he should have walked in, but I also like production might say, "Oh no, go in, go ahead," because y'all messy, okay? But I don't feel like Marquez is like is I rule this shit. I can do whatever. I can do whatever I want. That's my wife. I mean, that is his wife. But I don't see that happening. I see them taking itty bitty moments and making it a bigger thing for no fucking reason. And I gonna respect me. Yes, please, absolutely respect them people's house for sure. But y'all also can't make it seem as if he's over there busting out windows and flattening tires. Okay, so Ken, we was talking or whatever, and he was getting upset, and I told him to leave. I said, "Get out," and he ain't want to leave. That ain't what happened. You kept asking him to sit down, and because you had stood up, and so Trisha, he did not sit back down. So you got pissed and boom, 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 chest bumping, okay, and then said, "Get out." He was walking towards the door, asking, "But what's next? I got the boundary. What's next?" So making it seem as if, well, he refused to leave my house, and so I had to fight him. Okay, I said leave. He ain't leave. It got physical. Okay, and we ain't heard from him since because you pissed off because you beat him up or not beat him up. You fought him on camera. Now Will was like, "Well, what you gonna do?" Because you're gonna have to deal with him. He ain't going no fucking where. So what's the plan to fix this shit? Because he ain't going no damn where. You know what I'm saying? Logical question. Logical question. That man is the kid's daddy. He ain't going nowhere, especially because he don't like your ass now. So what is your plan to figure shit out? Because you can't make it seem as if it's not an issue now, because it is. You know what I'm saying? And well, I'm trying to cater to, I know I'm trying to cater to Ken's, I'm sorry, to Marquez's emotions and feelings. And Chris said, "Nigga, why? You not marrying him." And that's true. There's no reason to cater to Marquez's feelings and emotions. It's not. It isn't. Put clear boundaries in place and move forward. And in co-parenting ships or whatever, it's going to be hills, bumps, valleys, and all the shit in between. And the first reaction cannot be beat chest, aggravation, fight at all. It needs to be a conversation. And so Will asked me, "Well, what y'all gonna do?" And Chris saying, "Nigga, why are you trying to feel for you're not trying to be with him?" So, and not only that, why keep going through all of this shit for what? Well, I love Trish, you know what I'm saying? I know we can make it, you know what I'm saying? And the only way we can be together, the only way I can be with my girlfriend is if her husband stop ruining it. Okay, her husband is fucking it up. I love her and she love me and we a happy family, except her husband no, she's the problem. She's the problem. And to me, Trish does not need to be in a relationship. Trisha is angry. She's unhealed. She has trauma. She has anger issues. She has self-esteem issues because you would not even be, girl. Okay. Ken, like, look, in order for me and my girlfriend to move to the next step in our relationship, okay, her husband has to stop ruining it. And it's him. It's not her, it's him. Okay. Because most people, move on and they get a divorce. And Chris said, yeah, but it does not take 7 fucking years to get divorced. So every time Ken tries to ignore that Trisha is the problem because she's still married, she is not pushing for a divorce. She calls you and her husband to consistently bump heads and fight, and she likes it because then Marquez leaves, and then she can stall your ass for another 6 months. So it don't take nobody 7 years to divorce somebody. And Ken sitting up here and hearing 2 individuals who don't know each other telling him the exact same thing. Why are you still there? Why are you still there? What's the point? Well, we have no problem. We have no problems. We know when he ain't around, we perfect. We great. Okay, I put all the money because he's been. I put all the money and effort in to put my family in a good position. Ken, shut up. And Will said, "Do you feel like this situation is just like a challenge for you? Like, are you trying to figure out, how you can solve a puzzle? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't get why you still around. Like, I don't get why you still here trying to figure shit out. Like, do you think it's like because it's you want to fix it like it's a challenge. You know what I'm saying? Like he said, it's like you can't let go of the puzzle. And I'm like, when I tell you that shit means, girl, I was like, damn. Yes, Ken is Captain Save a Hoe, and I'm not calling my dad no hoe. He's Captain Save him, and he can't figure out how can I save her from her husband who she won't divorce. I mean, if he just go away, we can be together. I mean, she got to divorce him. If I could put this puzzle piece with that puzzle piece, and then it's like, no, he's like, is it a puzzle you're just trying to figure out? And Ken said, well, yeah, we know. What do you mean? You know what I'm saying? You know, I haven't been trying to solve no puzzle. He said, because my friend was easy. He said, I was not trying to have a puzzle because my friend wasn't around. I'm like, nigga, that's the puzzle. That's the puzzle. You trying to figure out how to be with somebody who's married, who has a husband that's alive. You are still trying to figure out how to be with her. That's the puzzle. That's the challenge that you are facing every day. And you refuse to see that, nigga, that's the puzzle. You're dating a woman with a husband who ain't around, who won't divorce. She won't divorce him. She won't push for no divorce. You are literally a side nigga on a main nigga plate. That's what you are. Because she still, and even look, I don't think that Trish or Marquez want to be together. I don't. I think they're both so damaged and delusional. They enjoy this toxic ride and they're used to it. They're fine. It's Ken ass who's on a fucking roller coaster who don't know how to get the fuck off. Okay. And both Chris and Will, like, no, like, you have been trying to figure out this puzzle forever. I don't see how y'all don't. He's getting upset. I don't see how. I'm upset. How y'all don't see and how y'all don't understand. Okay, I don't have to fix a puzzle because he ain't here. Nigga, that's the puzzle. And everybody go through things not like this. No one is having to figure out how to have a relationship with someone's wife. That ain't regular at all. Okay, and we're like, look, I get it's a difficult puzzle, and at times you really need to, like, you know, put the puzzle away. Like, it don't have a lot of pieces. Ken say, well, nah, our puzzle has an extra piece, and it's Marquez. Bitch, it's her husband. When your response is your relationship has an extra puzzle piece that don't fit because he's the husband, he's the husband. Anyway, we also look, at the end of the day, it's your fault. Because you refuse to stay. I'm saying you refuse to leave the situation, and you won't take yourself out of the equation. Like, you would not remove yourself from an uncomfortable situation. Okay. Well, because I know I love her and we can work. You know what I'm saying? And the only problem is her husband. You know, it's just a husband. Ken Will said, if it was me, I would have left her a long time ago. And he need to. But you know what? Ken likes being a side nigga. It makes him feel pleasure to come and save somebody from somebody else. I can just save her from her husband. No, I'm not gonna press her to divorce him because she won't. She won't. And even like the fact that Trisha is in the middle from an angry man and an immature man. And she's in the middle happy. Because if she wasn't happy, she would absolutely divorce Marquez. And even if she divorced Marquez, that doesn't mean she has to instantly marry Ken, but she won't even push to have the problem out of her life. She accepts him as not being around. But it's like having an STD that you know you have and you refuse to take the medicine. That's stupid. That's dumb. It's stupid. It don't make any sense. You know you have this disease, and it is very uncomfortable. And all you need to do is take the syphilis medication. What is it? I don't know. You refuse to take the amoxicillin. Okay? All you need to do to get rid of this STD is take the fucking medicine. And you say, well, nope, because I only itch on Tuesdays. So I'm itch on Tuesday. It's going to aggravate me on Tuesday. But Wednesday through Monday, I'm okay. It's like, why would you not just take the damn STD medication to get rid of the infection? But no, you want to have an itchy cooch, a burning cooch, and it keeps coming back. It keeps coming back. Trisha has an STD relationship. She refuses to take the medication to rid herself of the fucking infection. And because she refuses to take the medication for syphilis, which is Marquez, Ken keep itching too. So Trisha's refusal to take her medication has now infected Ken. And now Ken is complaining about his itchy penis to the being in his life. They're like, nigga, why stop fucking her? You know she infected. You know she's infected. You keep fucking an infected person because you love her? No. No. Leave her. Leave her. So that's crazy to me that I'm like, because again, all the most she need to do is divorce Marquez. That's step one. Okay, step one is always take the medication that cures the infection. And then you see what happens next. Okay. Maybe you have to be on a whole round of medications. I don't know. Okay. You have to have follow-up visits. I don't know. The point is, Trisha has an infection called husband. Okay. And because she refuses to take the antibiotics, husband is around itching, and she's infected her boyfriend. And now all of them itching. All of them itching. Because Trisha won't take her medication. Because that's where the disease started. She's the outbreak monkey. Okay? She's the outbreak monkey who had the infection. And she's now infected Ken with Marquez shit and everyone else on thing. And because of that, the kids itching. The kids are also infected because their mom refused to take the fucking antibiotics. Lastly, I don't know how did I get here? How did I get on STDs? Girl, I don't know. But that's what it feel like. It feel like it's an infection that nobody will take medicine for. And they just keep itching and fucking. Stop having sex with a person who has an STD. Just stop fucking her. It ain't even if you love her. Until she take the chlamydia medication, leave her alone. Okay. Once she addresses her STD and gets it out of her body, then holler at her. But if you want to keep banging the infected person, you will be infected too. It would affect your life. It will stress you out as well. Every time, every day, all this. Child.
I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this.
Lord Jesus. I'm just saying, nigga, look.
Shut your mouth. Okay?
And take the STD medication. Lastly, the Scotts. Okay, the bald brothers of Brewster Place. Okay, the baldy locked people who should be quiet around here. Child, they infected too, if you ask me. So, Marceau, Maurice, Tisha, and Kimmy meet up for dinner at Maurice and them house. Why? Because they want to check. Okay. a part of me feel like they like, you know what? We need to pivot. What else is happening that we can address? We know Jaylen don't like Maurice. Well, you know what? Let's discuss that. Okay. Now, one, they all look great. Okay. They tried the budget is Mel left and they got a few extra dollars. So they're around here because Marcel, like, I want to discuss Jaylen feeling like I'm the daddy. Okay. And Maurice is the big brother. I don't know what to do. Okay. And Jaylen feeling like Monster was treated better than and can do no wrong. Like, let's discuss it. So for the most part, Maurice and Marcel are like battling because Maurice is on the defense because he was a deadbeat stepdaddy. And Marcel like, well, don't make me the daddy. I got enough things on my own plate. Okay. And Marcel like, look, I get he said that, you know what I'm saying? I'm like the father figure, whatever, but that concerns me around here. And I don't know if that's the real thing or whatever, but we see Jaylen had a scene with Kimmy, he had a scene with Maurice, and a scene with Marcel. I'm like, child, not them again, they're using Jaylen as a distraction. Okay. And I'm like, for what? For who and for why? So Marcel was like, I'm a concerned stepdaddy. Okay, I'm a concerned parent for Jaylen. And Maurice is the deadbeat stepdaddy who don't care. All he wants folks to know is I married the mama and I was around. Okay, I ain't doing nothing extra. Leave me alone. Okay. And so when Maurice like, well, I want us to have a family business or whatever, but Jaylen ain't with it. And Marcel said, like, well, who's the family? Like, well, who? Like with me, Kimmy, Jaylen, and Monster. He said, oh, yeah, Jaylen and Monster. I don't know. The fact that Jaylen had a more honest conversation with Marcel, like, I feel like I was treated differently. I feel like Monster was the golden child. Okay. I feel like I was treated differently. Like, everyone knows that's how Jaylen feels, or that's how he felt and stuff. And Maurice wants to lie and think we crazy and say, "Yeah, I didn't really treat Jaylen differently." Okay, and this how I know it was some bullshit. He said, "I didn't treat him differently because he wasn't my own child. I did that because he's the oldest." And I was like, "The fuck do you mean?" Meaning Maurice is fully well aware of the fact that he treated Jaylen different. It don't matter if the reason wasn't because he's not about that. You still normally treated a child differently who happened to be not your own child. Like, who does that? You know? He's like, well, because, Monster is younger, and in our family growing up, the older kid was next in line to be the parent to the younger kids. Nigga, that ain't going on anymore. That, and I think we've had this conversation before. When people have a lot of kids, they expect the older kids to stop being kids. They want the older kids to now be parents to their younger. That ain't fair. You getting with my mama does not make me the next parent to your son. And for you to feel the right to do that means you're a evil stepdaddy. Okay? Deadbeat stepdaddy. So him even admitting, well, I treated him differently because he was older. Because I felt like he can be the next parent to Monster. That's unfair. It's unfair because it wasn't as if that was Jaylen's job. Bitch, I don't know you or your son yet. I should not be tasked with being the next parent around here. And the faces that both Tisha and Marcel was making as he talked was insane. It was like, nigga, you serious? Are you for the fact that he has no common sense thought process, that him saying that is stupid? is it let me know Maurice is dumber than we thought because he doesn't even pick up on context clues. Okay, so to expect your new girlfriend's son to be a parent figure to your younger son is stupid. You know, and when Maurice then said, well, I feel like Jaylen was raised great, meaning Kimmy had already raised Jaylen. Kimmy had already raised Jaylen, so he was raised great. You know, so I didn't need to give any correction until it was needed, meaning I don't have to give him love and affection as a parent. But if you fuck up, I can correct. And that's the problem. When you only correct folks and you give them no positive reinforcement, it makes them feel like you don't care for them. So him saying, well, you know, he was raised fine. I didn't need to do anything. I ain't let you fuck up. So Kimmy then said, well, you know, Maurice and I have had these conversations. I said, oh, so you knew this, Kimmy. You knew, because for you to say me and him have already had these talks, and she said, because I also felt like he treated Jaylen different. At that moment, Kimmy failed her son. Now, Kimmy raising Jaylen, making sure they put him through school, making sure that he didn't have like debt, leaving college, all that stuff that we know she did before she got Maurice. I give Kimmy her props for how she raised him before she got with Maurice. But her getting with Maurice and being aware that he treated her son differently, not only from how her son felt, but how she felt. I can't imagine my mom being with somebody who treated me like less than. I can't imagine it. When my mom left my birth father, who she was married to, I don't recall her dating at all. The next man we saw in her life was my dad. And they ended up getting married, child, and staying together until he died. So my mom always made me and my sister the priority. And when she met my dad, and my dad had my brother, and we became a blended family, we all had to blend. And my mom, we that's why now folk like, y'all ain't really, no, that's my technique. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, so that is my outlook of how a blended family works. No one treats anybody any differently. But Kimmy saying out her own fucking mouth, well, I also felt like you treated them differently. So you felt that way, and so did Jaylen. And you and Maurice have talked about it, and he ain't fixed it. He hasn't fully addressed it. It has not been rectified. That's insane. And Kimmy said, like, I told him before Monica came to live with us, I want to see if do things differently with Monster. And he did. He treated Jaylen different. And that's insane. As a parent, I can't be with a person. I don't want to be with someone who treat their own kids weird. Because what happens is that kid who grows up to be an adult has a warped sense of what step parent look like. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're like, well, I don't have it. That's weird. You know what I'm saying? And they were, well, she's like, I felt like Jaylen did not feel Maurice liked him. So why did you stay with Maurice? If Maurice did not fix it, gonorrhea, okay, Maurice has gonorrhea as a step parent, meaning he know he can't get rid of it. Is that you can't click gonorrhea, right? Okay. But Maurice was fully aware of the infection in his body as a bad step parent and how it affected Jaylen, how Kimmy felt, how Kimmy did not like the fact that Kimmy felt he also treated her son differently. I can't stay in that marriage. And probably because, Jaylen, moved out. And at that point, it didn't matter. He don't live here no more. But I would have resentment to my mama if I felt like she stayed with a man who made me feel less than in our own household. And when you have that thing, like, well, that's my son, so he good. Okay, cool. That's your son. I'm your husband. And we'll see if he fuck up, I'll mentor him. You know what I'm saying? It's bull of the shit. And it's weird to me that Kimmy would even allow that to happen. I would have cussed Maurice out. Either treat my son the same or get the fuck out. So Maurice is defensive about all of this. Okay. Again, like we did, like, Jaylen was more geared towards Marceau because he felt like Marceau liked him. He talked to him. He wasn't always getting yelled at, fussed at, and corrected by Marceau. Whereas with you, your only interaction with him was to correct him. And because we've seen how he acts when he thinks he's right, I can only imagine how aggravatingly badgering he probably was as a disciplinarian to Jaylen. So I don't like you at all. And Kimmy acknowledging that she knew it, she felt it, they discussed it, but it seemed like it never got fixed. Ever. And so when Maurice is getting defensive or whatever, and you then see Marceau, because it was crazy how quiet, like we didn't see Tisha say much of anything except, child, they gotta fix it or whatever. And Marceau was trying to say, well, look, you're staying defensive about this. And you keep responding with a but, and not listening to what we're telling you. And this fool said it's already hard to talk to you. Not the stop from this fussing and fighting. Yeah, but he like, it's already hard to talk to you. Okay. So if I grew up with you as a golden child, and now Jaylen was raised with Monster, Golden Child 2.0, meaning both of us felt like you were treated better from the parent. And now you're doing that exact same thing with your son and her son. And I'm like, Marceau admitting, nigga, you difficult in general. So I can't even imagine how Jaylen will be able to even talk to you about it, but because you're already hard to talk to, you're already defensive. You have a rebuttal, and you're not listening and taking in what we're saying to you, and that's crazy. And Maurice like, well, that's bullshit. You sound like Chris Fletcher. Oh, you sound pathetic, Maurice. And they're back and forth. And, oh, you sound like Chris Fletcher, or you're pathetic. Maurice didn't say to myself, well, how about you tell me the truth? Oh, so I'm lying? You think I'm lying? And Maurice said, you always lie. You lie all the time. Do you now? A part of me wonders, are they really fighting? Or are they putting on a fake fight to avoid their own shit? I don't know. I don't feel like Jaylen's feelings are fake. I feel like this has been a real issue that they're just using to avoid discussing anything else with the men. To me. Because again, Kimmy's saying, well, I know, I felt like you were, different to my son. And, and it's like, well, why was this not addressed before? Why address this? Because Jaylen is now a grown man who, because the housewarming they had with Jaylen maybe 3 or 4 seasons ago, he lives in the same house. So he doesn't live with them. So now that he's out the house on his own, working, planning to move out of state, now y'all want to bring up the unfair agenda of how Maurice was as a father. Now, if he's gonna move away, you can't fix it. And not only that, if Jaylen felt that kind of way about Maurice, how does Jaylen and Monster get along? Like, is there any that ain't my brother? Do they even have a brother relationship? Does Jaylen resent his mama for even allowing this bald-headed bandit in the house to make him feel less than? You know what I'm saying? So this whole scenario, now I appreciate Marceau calling out the deadbeat stepdaddy. I appreciate them even acknowledging how Jaylen is closer to Marceau. Maurice never having any kind of response that would give off the inkling that he is aware he fucked up with how he treated Jaylen. He never had that notion. He never had that kind of thing. He never, you know what? I shouldn't have treated him like an adult who was going to help raise my son. I should not have been hands off with him. Wow. Because I'm like, the same way you had to get to know his mama to get in her coochie. Okay. It's the same way you have to respectfully get to know her son and hopefully make him feel protected and loved. Because when you are a parent, whether a birth parent, a step parent, a foster parent, a whatever parent, when you are a parent, your job is to not only love that kid, make the kid feel protected. And a part of Jaylen feeling like, well, he's just a friend. He didn't feel protected by Maurice. He felt like if I fuck up, he gonna fuss at me. So I don't have to really engage with him. I don't have to. If something's wrong, will he go to Maurice? He'll probably go to Marceau. Because when Maurice brought up how I talked to Jaylen, he has whatever project coming up, and he was asking for advice from Marceau and not Maurice, because he don't trust Maurice. You came to a pool hall in a goddamn 3-piece suit. That's stupid. So Trisha and them has a whole STD that they refuse to get fixed, and now so does the Scotts. And the STD is the fact that they are all infected with stupidness and avoidance and deflection. And while I'm happy the season is not focusing on Mel being gone, I'm happy they're not using Mel's absence as a plot hole for them all. They're still weaving their way through the bullshit of, well, let's just say Jaylen don't like, just admit that Jaylen don't like Maurice. And I knew as a mom. And I would never, child, when Monster got there, he felt like she had to do it all. It was aggravating. It was aggravating. And I'm like, well, if y'all don't have Jaylen on camera discussing how Maurice was as a parent, how was Kimmy to Monster? How was Kimmy to Monster? Because if you treat my son differently, I'm going to double down and make your son feel great to make you feel worse. And hope that you see my effort and being a parent to your son, and you put the same effort into my son. So it aggravates me that I probably feel like Kimmy was probably a great, bonus mom to Monster. And Maurice was just the man his mama married in the house. And that's weird to me. But the Scott's parenting has always been weird. Before Marceau felt like Tisha was the parent. She does the parenting or whatever. Like, that's on her, not really on me. And now the fact that we kind of see that happen with Maurice as well, just in a different way. One, Monster didn't live there. He lived with his mama. And Kimmy's son, who was in the household full time all the time, never had an active father an active father figure in the home. In the home. I don't know why Kimmy there. I don't. I I don't I don't understand loving a man who you acknowledge treated your son differently. And let's say, play devil's advocate. Let's say Maurice had no ill intent. Let's say Maurice did not realize at first how that was happening. Talk about it. Deal with it. Let's not wait until my son is about to leave the States in his 20s to discuss how you didn't help raise him. Because as he said, Jaylen was raised great. I didn't need to do much. And that's because Kimmy had already raised Jaylen. Because I think Jaylen was probably, let's say 12, 13, around the time Maurice came around. You know what I'm saying? So 12, 13, 14, whatever. So for me to even feel like I don't really have to do much. Kids are not dumb and raised at that age. I'm 43. My mom's still raising me. You know what I'm saying? You're never done raising your children in some way, shape, or fashion. And I think seeing Maurice and Jaylen at that pool hall let us know there is no relationship there. And it feel like Jaylen only has a relationship with his mama. He tolerates Maurice because he's around. But he's not reaching out to Maurice for, hey, let's, no, it's not. That's weird. Like when my dad was alive, I would call him and my mom all the time because we had a relationship. I'm hanging out because I'm like, that's my daddy. You know what I'm saying? Jaylen and Maurice probably never hung out in general because Maurice is like a disciplinarian, a mentor, a big brother, from the YMCA. So, the Scots kind of belling it out, and Maurice calling Marcel a liar. I mean, they all lie, truthfully. So I don't know. It's weird because if you go back to season 1, Kimmy's just different now, and I'm like, well, Kimmy, when did you realize that Maurice was not a good parent? Well, like when did you? Because when did y'all talk about this? And what was it? Okay, I need you to do this, Maurice, or else. Did he just not do it? Did he not care? But some people feel like, well, my kid grown now, so he's a grown son. I raised him great. He's fine with me. But child, Maurice cannot get none of my cooch. Okay, at all. It cannot happen. Mm-mm. I don't like it. So, and I'm pretty sure that once they get to the reunion, or if Kimmy and them do an interview, they'll try to placate it like, oh, well, I didn't mean it, as if, this. You said it. You said it. Jaylen said it. The fact that both Tisha and Marceau don't look as if they had no idea. It feels like everyone was aware of this dynamic, and now they're just addressing it on TV. Anyway, they get on my nerves. Kimmy paid for Jaylen and Maurice college tuition. She's gonna pay for Mark. Child, Kimmy paid. I know for a fact she paid for Jaylen's college because she kept on saying that. That's why she refused to stop being a nurse, but she wanted to make sure that when he left college, he had like no debt. And that was great. Probably she got a few jobs now, so I don't know where Maurice worked because he ain't no. I don't know what kind of lawyer he is because we never see him in courts. We never see him meet up with any people, and he's never said what kind of lawyering he does. So that is weird to me. I think Kimmy doesn't want to admit that she chose wrong. That's probably true. I can see that. I think it's because she probably feel like I sacrificed enough to be in this marriage. And now that I'm in it for these many years and my son is grown, like, what's the point of leaving now? My thing, if you're not gonna leave when your son is of age to realize mommy, made a choice for my benefit, ain't no point leaving once the kid is, an adult. He's lived through the bullshit. So, and I don't blame Kimmy for how Maurice made Jaylen feel initially. I blame Kimmy in the fact that once she realized it, she didn't address it. And she didn't force Maurice to be a better step parent and try to make an effort to make Jaylen feel. Because remember, when she said, when Martha came to play with us, I said, we'll see if you're any different. That's been years still. So what that meant is you never tried to fix it. Because if y'all had the conversations before Martha moved with y'all, Martha came, I think around 4 years. Martha came around season 2, maybe season 3. So that's been at least like 4 or 5 years ago that Martha came. And so if it was happening before then, that means kind of the whole fucking relationship. And so it's like at this point in time, you can't want Jaylen to want to be a big happy family and work together. It's like, hell no, I got my face. So I'm sure the rest of the season they would go, oh, we didn't mean it that way. That wasn't what it was. They have a great bond now. Nuh-uh. Because Jaylen said, when Jaylen said, well, I'm not your son. So I know you love Martha more. Like even him saying, like, I'm not your son. Like if my dad ever said he wasn't my dad, or if I ever said to him, he was child the fuck. What do you mean? And I said, what do you mean? And yeah, for me in my life, my stepfather was a million times more my dad than my bio father because he put in the work. And that's all you can do. Period. So I'm like, bitch, I don't know. I don't understand these crazy, toxic, blended families because I can imagine a parent allowing another person in their kid life who doesn't treat them with the utmost love and affection. And it doesn't start from day one. You have to build up to that. But that's the dating thing. Like my mom and dad dated. They met when I was in first grade. They got married. That's how I can count when stuff happened, what grade I was in. They met when I was in first grade. They got married when I was in right after I graduated 8th grade. And again, they were together until the day he died in 2015. So the whole time of them dating was us building the family bond between all of us. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Between, again, my dad's side of the family and my mom's side of the family. It was that's what it was. So I can't imagine anything different than that. And Maurice couldn't come in on day one and say, I'm your father, love me. No. But while you're dating their mother, and if your intent was to be with their mother while dating the mom, you're also supposed to be dating the child. You're supposed to be trying to grow with the child, bond with the child. And if you're only really with the mama and feeling like, oh, well, the kid is 12, 13, I'm good. It's like, no. Mm-mm. 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 No, if you help me, if you taught me how to build a fucking tire, how to repair a flat tire, how to fix a toilet, that's maintenance, bitch. That's a trade school. You a teacher. The fact that he has no like emotional tie, like I have memories of like dancing around in the house of Prince, parties, playing Monopoly, cook. I have a vivid memory of my dad making chicken noodle soup. Like you're supposed to have these vivid, memories of growing as a family. And James was like, "You taught me how to change the tire, how to fix a toilet." I was like, "That's it." Like now, when y'all went to go see Malcolm X movie on Christmas Day, and it was cold. I'm saying, like, how do you not have those? So that tells you how Maurice was as a parent, and that is Kimmy's fault. Because once I see you don't care for my son in that way, I can't beat you. My cooch can't get wet for you. Anyway, that's it. That's all, y'all. See, I said it's gonna be a 1 hour live. We'll be here 2 hours. I hope y'all enjoyed. I will be live at around 6:30 p.m. today for a gossip chats. So come on back through in about an hour for that conversation and whatnot. Y'all make sure that y'all have already liked the video, okay, and subscribe and whatnot, and watch the other content. Like if you around here, you have to watch all the content, because it's a thing to behold. And these folks around here is crazy. So next week's episode, I'll be live again next week at 3:30. 3:30 is my official Love and Rage Huntsville review time. Sunday, 3:30, we round here. Okay. So again, I love you all. I will see y'all in about an hour. Okay. I gotta go. Bye.